Hi, good evening. This is Steve Adler. Got a minute? Let's go through some numbers. We'll do this one relatively quickly tonight so everybody can get to their weekend. The numbers are looking good, some ambiguity, but we have to continue pushing. The ambiguity just sticks with you. Otherwise, the numbers would be just so strong. But anyhow, we'll lay out the numbers and then you can draw your own conclusions to them. Looking at the dashboard, the number of admissions, 20. We continue to drive that down. Even the number of cases we have are trending toward people that are younger, which means that while we have cases that are continuing to come in, they're younger people, so they're less likely to end up at the hospital. So we have general infectivity going down. We have younger cohort, less people going to the hospital. So our hospitals really just aren't in the danger they were in before. The number is still at 27, but the 20 is below that. We're continuing to drop that. I know that Dr. Escott is taking a look and seeing if qualitatively looking at infectivity, looking at these charts, what is the advice and direction for the city. I'll tell you that on the horizon, I am a little bit nervous about having so many UT students come back, only because they haven't been here for the summer while we were learning the discipline that we've had in the community. So I hope they get involved in that right away. I know the University of Texas is doing a really good job of making sure that those students come back into our environment in step with what the larger community is doing. I'm also concerned about Labor Day. What we're finding is, so I'm told by Dr. Escott, is that where we're running into problems are not so much at the organized places, where businesses are doing all the mitigation efforts, maintaining the social distancing, making sure people are wearing masks. Where we might be having the problem is the more informal gatherings. It's the parties, the family gatherings, the social groups. So people are getting together, drinking, and losing inhibitions, and that coming up with Labor Day, remembering what happened to us back on Memorial Day continues to be a concern. But anyhow, 7-day average is 27, 206 cases today. I think we're through the backlog, so that's probably a real number that is significantly below the 7-day running average, which was at 241, which is artificially high because that 241 includes that backlog of cases. Recall that the state was dumping a lot of cases on us, some that went back as far as April, and that really then throws off that number. It's not just us. It is states dumping that kind of data on communities and cities all over the state. But I think they're said that they're getting their numbers back in line. So hopefully we won't see that again. On the hospitalization numbers, 7-day moving average, it's 220, but we have 190 in our hospitals today as that number continues to go down. ICU 7-day running average is 78, 67 in our ICUs. Number goes down. Ventilators 53 is the 7-day running average. 45 is the folks on vents here tonight. Why don't you go to the next dashboard page? Those 206 cases get us up to 25,559. The number of people that have passed away, 353. That's an increase of 7. We were at 346 yesterday, so 7 people passed away. Still deadly virus, still the 4th leading cause of death right now in Travis County. Let's go ahead and look at the UT chart. So it's another way to take a look at what's happening in our city. You can see the numbers here. That chart in the middle is hospitalizations. You can see that the individual green dots were kind of closer to that green line. Now that we've gotten to this area where it's kind of flattened out, you can see the green lines are getting, there's an increased disbursement, which is what's creating the uncertainty for us. Once you get into the future, where those gray lines are, you can see as many gray lines above the dark green line as below the dark green line. The dark green line is kind of the mean scenario. It's relatively flat. That relatively flat number is reinforced by the number you see in the upper left-hand corner from the University of Texas. Our reproduction number, the RT number, is at 1.01. That means basically every person who gets it gives it to one more person. The probability of the epidemic is growing 50-50. It says 54%. Maybe it's growing, maybe it's not growing. We're right on the edge, which is why we need to really drive this down. Boy, I tell you, if we just really focus to stay disciplined through Labor Day and do a really good job on Labor Day, this community would be in a really strong place. But we have to maintain this. We're going to have to continue wearing masking, doing the social distancing. Don't stop doing what's working. Because it's only working because we're doing it, and as soon as we stop doing that, the numbers are going to go. They're going to go back up. I have another chart I want to show you. University of Texas modelers did a report today talking about the University of Texas students. Interesting. You can go on their website and find that report. This is on page 9 of that report. Just an interesting exhibit I thought that I'd share. What this exhibit tells you is, if you're in a gathering of so many people, what's the chances that somebody else in that gathering is going to be infected? You walk into a room or walk into any kind of gathering. Look around the restaurant. How many people probably are infected in there? Which is why you want to be wearing your mask and social distancing. But you can see the closer you get to the red, the greater the chances that you're going to be with someone who's infected. If you're in the blue or the green area, less of a chance you'll be with somebody that's infected. Gathering size is the number across the bottom. So you can see that if you're in a gathering of 0 people all the way to the left, not going to run into anybody who's infected. You get to a group of 100 people off to the right, then there's an increased chance you'll be in a yellow or a red area. And then if you look at those 2 lines that are across the bottom, the general population, the prevalence of virus in our community right now, that graph is set at 0.33. Given what's happened here in the last week or so, they're predicting right now that the prevalence in our community might be as low as 0.23. So that dark line might actually be a little bit lower than what's shown. But you can see that Travis County prevalence at 0.33. If you're in a group of 25 people, then you're probably in the blue just into the green area, which is probably about 15% chance that if you're in a group of 20 people, that you'll be in a room with somebody who's infected. Take that same dark line all the way over to the right. If you're in a group full of 100 people, then you're in that yellow area, and there's probably a 33% chance, 1 out of 3 chance that in that group of 100, someone's going to be infected. The dotted line above that is University of Texas students. So these kids are coming from lots of different places in the country. And when the modelers looked at all the different places that students were coming from as they came back, numbers slightly higher than what it is in Travis County. Of course, when the students get here and get doing everything that we're doing and the disciplining with the masks and the social distancing, then the numbers will come together. But right now at the University of Texas, if a gathering of 100 people get together on the University of Texas, then you start looking at a 45% chance that in that group there's going to be somebody that's infected. Just as, again, a reminder why it's so important as you go out and you start running into people, being near people, why it's important to wear the face covering, why it's important to do the social distancing, because the more people that you interact with, the greater the possibility or the chances that you're going to end up being close to somebody who has the virus. Could be asymptomatic. They might not know that they do. But anyhow, those are the numbers that I wanted to share with you today. Again, we're past the duplicate numbers, so the numbers we're starting to get now we think are reliable. I want to tell you that because the incidence of the virus is going down, probably fewer people symptomatic, fewer people going to get testing. now's a good time to go get testing. If you are with anybody that you think may have had the virus and you want to make sure that you're not infected, APH, Austin Public Health, has the capacity not only to give tests to pretty much anybody who wants it now, just go in and sign up, but they also have the capacity to give tests to people who are homebound or don't have transportation. Call this number that you see, 512-972-5560, and Austin Public Health will actually go to people's homes to make sure that they can get tested. I want to give everybody a reminder, the RET program is taking applications. This is, we heard Pilar Sanchez talk to us about this program just a day or two ago. This is the city helping pay rent for people in our city that don't have the capacity to do that, lost their job or something related to the virus. It's almost $13 million going to be distributed this way. People should apply. If you're making less than 30% of Bead family income, you get up to 3 months paid of rent paid for you. Under 80% Bead family income, you get a month paid for you. So I urge people to go on. You could see the number to call or to go get rental assistance. You get multilingual help in doing something like that as well. I want to remind you that today is the last day to apply for that PEBT program. This is the program where the state gives pandemic electronic benefit transfers to families to help them buy food while schools are not in session. It is literally a $285 cash payment to folks that are on free and reduced lunch programs during the regular school year. If you or someone you know is in that program, there's like a few hours left to go ahead and apply. I want to share one last graph with you. This is a graph that was presented to the City Council just a couple days ago at our meeting of Austin Energy. It doesn't have anything to do with the virus, but that's not our only public health hazard. Climate change is as well. And I just wanted you to see this because Austin Energy is doing such a fantastic job. The gray line on the left is what the resource plan, what we were forecasting as our tonnage of emissions. Right now, you can see that what was being projected was about 2.5 billion tons. On the number on the right, the actual, you can see what our actual carbon footprint was. That's a pretty substantial reduction, actual versus what we had budgeted. A big component of that, and there are 3 components, and those green components, the really big component that I think is just so clever is the one all the way to the left. That's a virtue of a REACH program that the Austin Energy is doing. It's a way almost of how they price the energy that they sell into the state's collection of energy. Austin Energy changed how they were doing that. It's resulted in us running our carbon plants less than what we were running them before. Minimal loss of income because it's at the shoulders of the price in the market. But what that's resulted in to the city is a significant reduction in our carbon footprint. Austin has always been and continues to be one of the leaders in climate change mitigation of cities, not only in the country but in the world. And you should be proud of living in this town. All right, I'm going to conclude by talking about Alpha, who's age 8, and Jersey, who is age 6. They have sent in pictures. They're spending their summer communing with nature a lot of their time. And here they are. This is Alpha in Jersey. And they are climbing trees. They are out in nature. They have an advantage. Their father is the exhibit coordinator at the Austin Nature and Science Center, which happens to be one of the coolest places in the city for kids and nature lovers. They're finding lots of ways to spend their summer moments socially distanced in nature. They're doing tree climbing. They're exploring some of the favorite activities of kiddos, and it just makes me smile to see kids who are there. Now you can see the whole picture. Kids who are out scaling things, including scaling Dad. With that, you all have a good and safe weekend. Take care.